Okay, so we kind of like, I guess you don't know me. We've never been introduced together. I'm Richard with Man versus 50, and then Brandon and I've done some videos, a video together, and some other stuff. So we kind of were talking about doing something like some of these other YouTubers do, where they have the live streaming and different stuff like that. And I have mixed opinions about that, just because some of them just, I'm not going to sit there and watch a 2 hour live stream. I don't have the bandwidth in my brain or the patience to sit there and do that. So we thought it'd be cool to kind of get on like this and just talk about a topic and kind of stay on point and just, with all our experience, because you have, you know, like Brandon, I always give him a hard time about his weight savings. And then I'm very the aesthetic person. And you seem just to be like kind of all the above, just do whatever. And so I think it's a good combination of
Yep.
like our background, our experience, and our thought process about the Corvette, a car that we all love. So I was kind of thinking we could get on today and just kind of talk about our video, kind of how we got all started doing this, and, whatever we want to say, and just very organically flow, and then start getting like into deeper topics in the future, our next one, and say, hey, this is what's coming, this is what's going on in the community, this is what we're hearing, whatever. And then we just start talking
Yeah, sounds
and
good to
give
me.
feedback. Is that cool, Brandon? Is that kind
Yeah.
of what you're thinking?
Yeah, that sounds good. I was gonna say, just to add to the Ken thing, so I probably watched, I don't know, who knows how many of his videos as far as on how-to stuff. I think you've been doing the how-to stuff on CH for like 5 years or something, right? Like, pretty much for a while
Um,
now.
I don't know if it's been that long, to be honest with you. Let me see. I can tell you exactly when I put my very first video up, which was actually kind of like a little bit of a goof, the very first video that I ever put up. And I was like, oh, what the hell? Let me throw this up or whatever. And then I was like, all right, let me try to keep doing other ones. Um, Probably about 3 or 4 years ago, according to
Okay, yeah, and it was a
Okay.
C8, right? Didn't you have a C8 then at that time?
so I've
A
actually had
Stingray?
four. Yeah, I've had two C7s and two C8s.
Okay, nice,
So
nice.
Okay, that's cool.
I had a C7, I had a C7 Stingray, and then I got rid of that, got a C8 Stingray, got rid of that, got a C7 Z06, got rid of that, and now I have the E-Ray.
Alright, so
So,
so which one, Ken? The
ooh.
C706, or how you liking the E-Ray? I mean, the E-Ray is probably better, I'm sure, but how close are you as far as, like, if you had to pick one to go on a drive for on a Friday night, which car are you taking?
Well, I'll tell you what, the C7 Z06 that I had before, the only reason that I got rid of it, was because it was an automatic.
Was it that
Oh.
black car that you sent me a while back, that, like, stealth black looking, or did you end up getting one of those, or was that prior to that?
I was looking at that, but no, I didn't end up doing that because I was contemplating selling my car, but we'll see. But no, the only reason I actually got rid of the C7 Z06 was because it was an automatic. If that was a manual, I probably would still have that car and I never would have got the E-Ray to begin with. But I mean, I always loved the E-Ray and I still do. I still love that car. I I don't like the payments and I don't like the insurance that comes along with it, but hey, it is what it is. So, especially out here in California where everything is just ungodly expensive. So, but yeah, but the first video I ever did was a C7, my C7 Stingray, and that was a video I put up, and it was because they all have the dash bubbling,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
and
but the 3 LT or whatever?
yeah, the 3LT and the
Yeah.
3LZ, the dash bubbling and everything, and everybody was like, $5, 6, $7,000 to replace these dashes, and I was like, no, that's stupid. I could fix that with this, and I got the glue that's in the video is called tear mender, and a needle that I took from from work, and just injected it and smoothed it out and fixed it. And I did that as a goof, and that video actually like took off and just had tens of thousands of views. And I was like, all right, let me try this. So, but
So
yeah.
were you a GM tech, or I know you're a firefighter now, but were you a GM tech at some point? Where did you get your knowledge base, or did you just had it from, like, being younger, or, like, where did that come from?
I was a tech professionally for years.
Okay, that's
Um,
what I
I
thought,
am
okay.
I am an ASC certified master technician, as
Nice.
well as God knows how many other certifications. In California out here, I used to be a smog tech, and I have the L1, L3, L4, and all the other advanced crap and all that and everything. And I used to be a diagnostician for General Motors years and
Nice.
years
That's
ago.
cool. Yeah.
Just to give you an idea of to date myself here a little bit, I used to work for Saturn.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
gosh,
Yeah,
Saturn. I
yeah,
hated Saturn so bad. Richard,
yeah,
did you ever have a Saturn?
Yes, we had one. My wife, it was like first brand new car I ever bought her was a Saturn,
yeah.
and that thing was a piece of you
Oh
know
my
what. I
god.
mean, what a
Yeah.
junk car.
I
Oh, they
mean,
were awful.
they were quite literally the economy of economy cars, you know, so
Yeah.
they tried
Thank
a
goodness
little
I
bit to
leased
kinda
it.
make it, they tried a little bit to kinda make it, better and nicer, but GM just wasn't getting behind them and things like that, so
Yeah.
but, just to give you an idea, but, I worked for Saturn and GM for a long time. I used to work for Ford, as a long
Oh
time.
gosh.
I was working as a full-time technician in for Ford when I was 16.
Oh
So,
wow.
yeah, I
That's
was a
wow.
full-time tech in the shop at 16. I've been working on cars since I was probably 9 years old,
Awesome.
literally. So and I'm 42 now, almost 43.
Yeah. We're about the same age. I think I'm 44. How old are you, Richard? You are
53.
53?
Yeah.
You look way
So
younger than that. I thought you were like I was gonna say probably our age, just had just more gray, but
Yeah,
I
just
figured
a
you're
little
probably about
gray
our
going
age.
on. Well, man versus 50 is kind of that's
Oh,
what
I'm
this stands for. Yeah.
yeah,
uh,
okay.
Yeah. So
uh,
your experience, so like I feel like on my screen it goes Ken and then Brandon and then me. I feel like it goes from the most experience, the middle experience, and basically zero experience when it comes to like working on cars and like it's hilarious. So that's why I think this is such a good mix because we're approaching this from like so many different angles and like literally it's kind of ironic because I actually mentioned you in one of my videos before any of this even came about because I'm basically converting my Z06 2LZ to a 3LZ and I'm taking apart panels and things like that. And I could not figure out how in the hell to get the glove box out until I watched your video when you took everything out of the car, and
mhm,
I'm like, "Oh, okay." So, like, that little, like there's, like, a secret pin that you undo, and then you get behind. I'm like, I could not figure out and, going to someone at the dealership, they're just like, "Get the hell out of here. We're
yeah.
not unless you wanna check it in and pay us," but I was just like, "Just tell me how to get this thing off," and they wouldn't tell me. So I watched your video and I learned how to do it. So that's kinda how and I mentioned it in my video, and that's kinda how I got to know about you and about your videos, and it's just ironic that we're, like, here now doing this because, I was talking about you in a video, so it's kinda cool.
Yeah, I mean, so, it's kind of funny how I actually ended up into Corvettes, to be honest with you. I always loved them very much when I was a kid. I mean, what kid, kind of doesn't? But I always wanted one. I could never afford one. Well, with the job I have now, I can finally afford one and everything. So, but yeah, I just kind of just started doing stuff like that, and I was like, there were some videos I saw people put out, and they would like skip parts and everything, and I'm like, why are you skipping that? Then I'm like, no, I want to know how to do it, like how to see it or whatever. So that's why I kind of do that. So mine are kind of, I know a lot of times they're kind of hard and rough to watch because they're not really there for entertainment value per se. They're more just straight like technical, like this is how to do it. And I'm aware my editing skills and things like that are very, very subpar. But I mean, that's kind of not the point, So, but yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
the thing is though, Ken, like with that, like even though the how-to stuff, it kinda has like a ceiling as far as the reach, obviously because people wanna be doing that specific thing. It's to me, it's like a big service to the communities, particularly a Corvette community, because I feel like that kind of stuff is more important sometimes than the entertainment stuff, at least for me personally, just because it adds value to other owners. It's something that's actually helpful versus entertaining. So I think for even though they don't have the reach broadly, like somebody that might go racing, street racing, and have a crash or something that's
yeah,
super
yeah,
exciting,
yeah,
everybody wants to watch it.
yeah.
I think it's more important that kind of stuff personally
Yeah,
than some
I'm
of the other stuff that's just going to get a lot of clicks.
yeah, I'm never
That's
gonna
just my
get the
opinion.
views that people have on, like, like, doing the racing and things like that, and you'll never see me do anything like that, for a multitude of reasons, but, personally, I think those videos are boring, but hey, that's just me.
yeah.
I don't
I
I
don't
don't
know about that.
uh,
I like to see some crashes. I do like to
yeah,
watch it, but
I mean, but, yeah, I know I'll definitely have a ceiling when it comes to things like that, but it's just kind of the technical aspects. I mean, I would love to do more different types of things, but I'm also kind of limited to what I can and can't like kind of take apart with that car or do things
Right.
because that car is my daily driver. So
oh, you drive the E-Ray?
that's my only car.
Oh, okay. How
That's
are you liking the daily part of it?
That's great. I love it. I mean, the trunk space is a little annoying, and that I've had to play Tetris with a couple of times, but that's really about
Yeah.
it. So, but yeah, that car's my daily driver. It's my only car. So yeah, I mean, so it's like if I want to do something big to it or something like that, I kind of have to like plan in advance for it, you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, but there's a ton of stuff that I'd love to do to that car, and I'd love to, do this and that, and the other thing. But the other factor is, the cost of some of the stuff that goes with these things is just astronomical, you know. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
Richard, did you have is your daily that your, truck that you just got, your new Ram, is that your
Yeah.
daily or do you have something else?
Yeah. So I had, and it's a whole nother story, but I had a Hummer EV, which,
We gotta
and
talk about
actually,
that in a minute.
yeah. So we have two of them, and
Yeah.
my wife has the Omega Edition SUV, and I had the pickup truck, and
Yeah.
then the Corvette, and then we decided that we were going to do the fifth wheel. And obviously those Hummers, if you tow anything on them, you'll be at, I mean, they'll get like 100 miles and that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's bad for that. But, so yes, then I went out, traded it in on the 3,500. And then, you and I talked. So I bought a 3,500 Ram brand new, had it for a weekend. And I guess the speed sensors are bad on them. And it went wacko and just like, it basically shut down. Then I got it started. They cleared the codes, got it started. I was taking it to get the windows tinted. We started it up, could not put it in drive and could not shut it off. So basically, something with the sensors was telling it it's not in park, it's not in drive, it's in nothing. And so we had to go under the dash, and there's this like safety latch that you pull, and it just finally killed the engine. And then we shipped it, or they came and took a wrecker and went back. And then I ordered one. So they have me in a loaner right now at 2,500, and then I'm waiting to get my 3,500, and it should be here hopefully in the next week or so.
Which Hummer
So
do you have still, the Omega or the truck?
the Omega.
So how do you like that? Because I've been considering that for a while now. Because I'm kind of big on the EV side too. Like I love EVs, like
Yeah.
especially some of the big trucks. And between the Cyber Beast and that Hummer, kind of competitors. You like it as far as like I know with the all wheel steering. I've ridden in one because my coworker has one. I really enjoyed like driving in it. As a daily, how do you feel it does?
I think, okay, I will say this about them. They are the most underrated, amazing vehicles that there are. I mean, these things are badass. I mean, they are really good. The problem is if you're just going around town, doing stuff like that, errands, go to work and back, stuff like that, it's amazing. Traveling sucks. So just to go to Dallas from here, couple hundred, 250 miles, but because they're so big, so it'll tell you have 300-mile range, but because the thing is basically like a square box, you
Hmm.
don't get 300 miles. You just don't. So it's every 1 mile you go decreases the car about 3 miles. So, you have
Oh,
to stop halfway, charge it, and then keep going. So, but around town, just getting from point A to point B and doing stuff like that, I mean, they're amazing. I mean, they're really, really good cars. So,
there's so many factors when it comes to EVs with things like that. It's like
yeah,
what accessories you're running, what the temperature is outside, how much weight you have in the thing, what your tire pressure is. There's such a wide range of stuff like that with EVs. So
yeah, and the Omega one that I have is a 3X. So they have a 2X and a 3X, and the 3X has an extra motor,
it's a
but
1,000 horsepower one, right? That's the
even
thousand
yeah,
more than
horsepower
yeah.
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
but what's crazy about it is, well, okay, that's another thing. The SUV goes up to, I think it has 895 horsepower, but the pickup truck 3X has the 1,000 horsepower. So
Oh,
they
that's right.
vary from the SUV. But you know, again, I love it. It's just you can't travel in it. That's the only bad
You
part.
can't go long distances in it, yeah, and
No.
that was actually a big hot topic out here in California, with the electric vehicle mandate. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, the big thing that got overturned in Congress because they had an electric vehicle mandate set to take effect in California in the year 2035.
Uh-huh.
In 2035, any brand new vehicle that you bought off the showroom floor had to be 100% fully electric. So, and there
It's
was like no
crazy.
way around it. So they actually overturned that with a CRA in Congress, but that's a whole nother thing. I could talk about that for hours with the whole California and their goofy laws. But but a lot of people were like up in arms and they were over about it because just exactly what you just said, Richard. So around town, it's great. You know, it's fantastic. So for the people that live in, say, Los Angeles or San Francisco or San Diego, fantastic. It's great. But the entire rest of the state, you got a problem.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
a lot of people drive, you know, an hour and a half or 2 hours to work, you know, back and forth and take traffic into consideration. That's what's gonna kill you and things like that. It's like these charging stations, they weren't all over the place because I don't know if the 2 of you have ever been out here to California, but you have those 3 cities, basically San Francisco, LA, and San Diego. Other than that, the whole rest of the state is rural, like farm country, you know? So it's a big issue out here. And I know there's a problem with like traveling long distances with EVs.
Yeah. You know, they have this thing called, I'm sure you've heard of it, but range anxiety,
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
where you sit there and you're basically watching and
Yeah.
at first, when I first bought it, I was freaked out. I mean, I was watching that thing like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna run. There's no way I'm gonna
Yeah.
make it,"
You can
and you
watch
just
it go down. You're like,
right.
yeah.
And I'm just like, you're scared and you're like, "Wait a minute, it says I have, 100 miles, but why is it on, 50 all of a sudden and it's 2 seconds later?" Thank goodness, one of the things the first purchase I made is I went out and got that Tesla adapter
Oh
because
yeah, for the
those
supercharger.
yeah, the superchargers are so much better than going to, you know, some of the other ones, what are they like America Electric or whatever they're called? They're
Yeah,
terrible.
electric force or whatever
ChargePoint's one of the
it
big
is.
companies too. They kind of they
Yeah,
suck.
and
They're
we
level twos. They're awful.
and Bucky's here in Texas has the Mercedes charger ones that are really nice. They're just kind of like the Tesla ones too, but they have a whole set of Tesla and the whole set of the Mercedes ones. So if you don't have the adapter, but if you don't plan out ahead of time where a Bucky's might be to stop and charge, I mean, it's messed up. And my wife drives it, so you can only imagine what I go through.
Oh
But
gosh,
we
yeah.
have one we have a charger. Thank God they gave me a charger with it, and then we hooked it up in the garage. We just plug it in at night and, she's charged the next day. But, she still gets a little weird about, the miles just because she's scared to go, farther than 50 miles there and back. So,
Mhm.
That's why I like the hybrids, like Ken, like the E-Ray. Like I feel like that's the sweet spot. You get the
yeah.
best of both worlds, and I think that's where all the market should probably be shifting a little bit more towards till the
Yeah,
infrastructure is a little better.
I agree. I don't agree with, I don't hate electric cars. I don't, like them per se, but I mean, there's plenty of advantages for electric cars. I will admit there's a lot of things about them that are really, really nice, but the technology is just not there yet for them. It's not.
Mhm.
And not in the same sense that it would be for gas. When you can come out with an electric car that has the infrastructure system of a gasoline vehicle and also you can recharge it in, the amount of time that it takes you to fill up gas and have a range of 300 miles or whatever, then okay, I could probably get on board. But hybrids, I think, are kind of like the thing. But the problem with hybrids is that so the E-Ray is obviously, as you know, a very unique type of hybrid.
Yeah,
It's not there for gas
performance
by
one.
any means. Yeah. So, but not only that, but the system is obviously the 2 systems, the gas and the electric, are 100% independent of each other, right? So that's a big thing too. The hybrids that you're talking about, like say a Prius or whatever, that would be, the most advantageous is more like they have they'll usually have like, like a gasoline engine and then some sort of hybrid or electric motor assist in physically in between it and the transmission.
Yeah,
Well, what that does is it makes them, very complicated. They're very, very complicated, and they can be very nerve-wracking to work on, especially if you don't know what you're doing. So I think that's kind of a little bit of a thing, but as far as, like, what you're talking about for kind of the future and everything, I don't know. I mean, I think hybrids are kind of a stall, to be honest with you. They're not the end all be all because it's still gonna be dependent on gas, but who knows? I think really, I think the best thing that we have kinda going for us is a thing that, I don't know if either of you have ever seen this, but, Porsche, is developing fully synthetic fuel.
I don't know if
Um,
I've seen that.
I haven't seen that.
so look it up. So Porsche, has these, factories and plants and everything. They're down in, funny enough, Chile, the country of Chile. And because the reason they did that was because everything down there is like wind driven and the generators are driven by the wind. And it's like a good spot in the world for wind. But Porsche is developing a 100% purely synthetic gasoline. And it burns 0 emissions and all that and everything, so it kinda makes everybody happy, and it's also will be an endless then supply of gasoline, so but, Porsche is developing it, they've been working on it for a long time, they haven't perfected it yet, but they're working on it, I think that's kind of the honestly, I think that's kinda the best route, and it'll work just the same as any other car, you can put it in any one of the cars that's on the road today, and it'll work exactly the same, no adjustments or modifications needed, so, but
I'm sure Texas will outlaw Porsches if that happens.
Yeah, that's it. Texas could
where
go
in Texas
bankrupt
are
if that's
you?
the case.
Huh?
Where in Texas
Texas
are
would be
you?
going bankrupt.
I'm in Houston, North Houston, the Woodlands.
I love Houston.
Yeah.
I love
It's
Houston.
I love Texas. I lived in California for a while, lived in LA, and I lived in Solana Beach and things like that,
Okay.
and I was I was ready to get back to Texas. I just
I love Texas, I love Houston. The northwest part of that city is probably my favorite
yeah,
part and
and that's
everything.
right. I live up north where it's called the Woodlands. It's about 45 miles north of Houston, and it's beautiful. It's somebody like this wooded area, somebody just decided to build a city in the middle of it, and it's fantastic.
That's
So,
northeast or northwest?
it's basically straight north.
So by,
It's
like,
almost
spring?
yeah, that's exactly. So the Woodlands
Okay,
and Spring
okay.
basically are
Yeah, I
the
love that
same thing.
area.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
it.
it's
I've been
fantastic.
there multiple times. I love that area. Oh,
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's
yeah.
fantastic.
So
Um, so the one thing I think one of the things I want to talk about too that just kind of like adds to our experience. I think we've all, when it comes to the C8, you've had C7s. I know Brandon's had C7. I've never had a C7. To be honest, I never in my life dreamed that I would ever own a Corvette nor an American sports car. I just did not want one because I had like R8s and Lamborghinis and things like that. And then when the C8 came out, I fell in love with it. So my journey was my first one was a 70th anniversary C8 Stingray, a 2023 with all Alcantara inside. I love that car. I mean, that car, the interior was absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, the way it drove, everything. And then the Z06 came out and I couldn't get my hands on one because they were asking 50, 60,000 over, kind of like the ZR1 now. And long story short, I finally had an opportunity. I got one, and then I kind of never looked back. I mean, it's the best sports car personally for the money I've ever owned in my entire life, and I
there
love that thing.
there's nothing that you can compare it to, especially when you're talking about bang for buck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's there's nothing else out there that's bang
Are
for
you on
buck.
a list for ZR1, Richard, anywhere, or are you planning on
No,
keeping the Z06?
I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson with the Z06. I mean, the first one that I had, so I've had 3 of them now because
Yeah.
it's a long story, but anyway, so the one that my very first one was a 3LZ convertible, and I paid 15 over for that. And literally a few months later, they were at MSRP, and then you know how it's gone from there. Now, I had a guy up at a dealership that's near my house. The 2026, they're giving 10K off MSRP on a 2026 Z06. And I'm just like, and I think the same thing is going to happen to the ZR1.
Mhm.
We,
It
GM
already is.
they overproduced all these
Yeah.
cars. And then it's like, well, then it's commodity now. It's not that special if they're producing so
Yeah.
many cars.
It already is, especially for a ZR1. You look at the ZR1, and there was people charging the standard was 100K over, and
Right.
that was maybe a month ago, maybe
Yeah.
6 weeks, you know?
That was
And
like
now
50K.
yeah, now they're all the way down to like, 20 or 30K over, you know?
Right.
Some places are still trying to get away with 100 or 150 or 200K even in rare places here and there, but, give it another, geez, 2
I think
months.
summer. I think summer it'll be MSRP. Maybe even before, maybe even spring.
I bet
There'll
you
be
it'd
an
be yeah,
MSRP
I bet
down.
you it'll be I would say by February, there'll be
That'd be
MSRP.
nice. I mean, it's enticing, but the thing is, Richard, like if you get a max spec, because yours are pretty well, it's the 2LZ except for the 3LZ part. Um, max spec Z06, you throw everything on it, carbon fiber wheels. I mean, you're hitting 170 ish, MSRP. You're right there, like with the zero
Right.
one, their base, and you get so much already with the zero one. It just to me, it's like if you're going to get a max spec Z06, it's almost like a no brainer to just get the zero one if you're going to spend that kind of money. But you're
Right.
talking about the discounts at 10K. That's assuming like discounts and